We've got some great questions this week on pickling eggs, on making fire cakes, and about going to reenactments. Thanks for joining us today on Questions and Answers with James Townsend and Son. So first thing, I really want to thank everyone that came to the domestic skills seminar at Genesee Country Village and Museum. It was an incredible event. All the people that came up and talked to me, thank you so much, everyone that greeted me and asked me questions. And I really want to thank the folks there at Genesee Country, Pat especially, Deanna, Brian, and Alan. Thank you guys so much for making me feel welcome, and for inviting us in the first place. Thank you so much. The first question comes from Tim Bum. From he was asking a question on the ash cakes video. He says, "Why not use a stone?" So we cooked our ash cakes right on the coals. And later on in the soldier cooking, when we actually did some similar kind of ash cakes on stones. And really the best way to find out about an answer or a question like this is to actually try it out. Now the books, there are period references that'll tell you which way they did it at one particular time. We tried it both ways, and really the ashes work much faster. You don't have to use as much firewood to get up to heat. You just need the coals there. So it's a lot quicker, and you don't need as much firewood. And as far as I was concerned, it was a lot easier to work the coals. It cooked them much faster, and you can put coals on the top and the bottom. So I think there are a lot of advantages to the coals method, and you don't have to worry about your rock being clean or dirty. And the ashes really do not stick to the fire cakes hardly at all. So that's why I would suggest the coals over the stone. But if you want to find out, try it for yourself. This one's a multiple question here, and it's a bit trickier. This one's on the latest Q&A, but it really doesn't have anything to do with the Q&A specifically. It's Jason KM4 FPZ. And he says, this sounds like a pretty broad question, but I'm curious as to what you take with you to a reenactment, and how do you carry it all? I know that certain things would be persona specific, but what about tools, implements, and utensils? Do you take any modern items with you for when the crowds recede and you're sitting around the fire? And is there anything that you use that's modern that you sneak into the show anyway? So this is a very broad question, and it's different for almost everybody and every event. Most events let you drive, when you're setting up, drive right into where you're going to be camping. So you can bring anything you can jam into your vehicle, into your trailer, and bring all that stuff. And most events are okay with modern items as long as they're hidden in your campsite, on your campsite. So maybe you need an air mattress to sleep on, or you want a cooler to store your food in. If you keep those in your tent under cover, it's usually not a problem. But that really is event specific. Some events are much more strict than that, and some events are so strict that you have to pack in your stuff and have only period things. But really that is up to the individual reenactor to choose the kind of events they want to do and the kind of reenacting they want to do. So there's so many different ways to do it, and many people bring, some modern conveniences along. And it's really it all depends on the individual reenactor choosing the sort of events that they want to do, and the kind of reenacting they're really interested in. Do you want to be very, very specific and pack in and have only period things? Or are you more interested in a social thing? So some modern items really aren't an issue. That really is up to you. We had a lot of great comments and great questions on the recent Pickled Eggs video. This one is from Nan Zingroni. I don't know if I got that right. I apologize if I pronounced that not properly. Anyway, the question is, if the cochineal is only to dye the eggs, can you use tea? And first, from a period recipe perspective, the cochineal was the main way to do it, and we really didn't see any evidence of using tea in pickled eggs. It's probably either a much earlier thing or a much later thing. At least in the English 18th century cookbooks, we didn't see that. Doesn't mean you can't do it, and tea will undoubtedly make it very interesting. Dye them a different, interesting color, and undoubtedly add an interesting flavor. And here's another one from Amanda J912, and it's also on the Pickled Eggs video. She says, great video as always. Question. When we pickle things nowadays, we seem to want to get all the air out of the container, and so we boil the jar, mason jars for example. Your jar still has a good amount of air space in it, and I wonder if that's something to be cautious of. And then there's so let me answer that question first before I go on to the second question. Yeah, it's kind of like there are refrigerator pickles, and then there are canned pickles. And canned pickles, obviously, we're heat treating them. We're making sure everything's sterile. Our jars, we're creating less airspace. We don't want the things oxidizing in there, so we're trying to get rid of the oxygen as much as possible. These kinds of pickled eggs and the kind that you're going to see in the 18th century, well, they weren't canning, right? These were that lid just kind of sets on that jar. It's not sealed on that jar at all. So they really are meant to be kept in a cool area. In the 18th century, they would have taken their jar of pickles down into the cellar where it stayed nice and cool, or put it in some other very cool place. So that's why in our directions for this episode, we said to store your pickles in the refrigerator are kind of our equivalent of keeping them nice and cool. And she has an unrelated question. She says, when is the last possible date to guarantee shipping before Christmas, U.S. customers, that is? Wow. Christmas can be pretty tricky to get things shipped. Clothing items, if you're going to be ordering a clothing item that needs to be made, then probably December 8th or so is about the deadline date for anything like that, but the sooner the better. If it's something not clothing, we probably have it in stock, and you can order it. You can wait till almost that week before December 17th if you're in, say, California, and that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on how close you are to us. We're going to be shipping through that whole week. And if you have any real specific needs and you're trying to get it, make sure to give us a call, and we can tell you whether the item is in stock and whether we can get it to you in time. We've got a couple of great cooking episodes coming up, so make sure to stay tuned on Monday for the upcoming cooking episode. I can't wait to see how that one turns out. Again, I want to thank everyone out there for your great questions, your wonderful comments, and your sharing. That is so important to what we do, and it's so encouraging to see people sharing the videos. So thank you so much for that. Make sure to check out the Facebook page. We're really working hard at getting some neat stuff in the Facebook feed, and the Instagram thing is going really well. So we have lots of fun images on Instagram. So make sure to check that out. And I want to thank everyone out there for watching. If you're a new viewer and you haven't subscribed, press the subscribe button up here. That'll take you to a spot where you can subscribe. That really is the best way to get notification of all the new videos that are out. I want to thank everyone for watching.